This is the help video for Excel Chapter 3, Pause and Practice number 3. On the left, I have the instructions from the SimNet SimBook. On the right, I have the file as it exists at the end of 3.2. So we're going to create a pie chart. And so pie charts are used to show parts of a whole, percentages of a whole. So we're going to go to Cass Lake here. And what we want to look at is for the revenue categories, what is the percentage of the whole for the total? So to begin this, we're going to select non-adjacent areas. We're going to do labels and we're going to do the total. Remember, we don't do the detail and the total. It's one or the other. So on the last two, we worked with the detail numbers. On this one, we're looking at the whole number. So we're going to select A5 through A8. Let go of your mouse, press and hold your control key, come over and select H5 through H8. We now have the non-adjacent areas selected, and we want to insert a pie chart. So I'm going to do insert, and in charts, I'm going to find the pie and donut chart little image, click that down, and I want a 3D pie. I want to move that to its own sheet, so I click on Move Chart, create the new chart name called Pie Chart. It makes that chart on its own sheet. Each slice represents a percentage of the overall revenue. Noticing that room and cabin rental is a big chunk, excursions is another big chunk, but by and far revenue is the biggest. Okay, so now we want to format it. So we're going to click on the chart title. We're going to triple click inside 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put second and third quarters. This time we are pressing enter and type sources of revenue. And then we're going to select the sources of revenue. We want to make that 18. And then we're going to select second and third quarters and make that 24. You could do it in either order. Just the first line needs to be 24. The second line needs to be 18. We're going to go ahead and select off of it to deselect it. We want to click on, let's see, where are we at? Double click on the pie to open up the Format Data series. We want to double click just on the blue, the room and cabin rental. Notice that my handles are only around that slice. Now I can explode that, pull it away from the rest of the pie by a 10%. So I did want to show you, if I click on the pie, do you see how the handles are around all of the slices? And then if I double click on a single slice, the handles are around just that slice. So that's how you can manipulate an individual slice or a column or whatever. Okay, we're going to close this up because we're done with that. We want to select the legend, go home, change it to 14 just so it's big enough. Let's take a second and save it, because that's all we're going to really do with the pie chart. I just did want to tell you though, normally in pie charts, you want to put numbers, percentages down here. So if we did, now you don't have to do it, I just want to show you. So let's say I wanted to do more options. I want to put a percentage, right? So I can see what these percentages are. Now in this exercise, it doesn't ask you to do that. I just wanted you to recognize that that normally is the case with pie charts. All right, so let's save that and let's go back to Cass Lake. So on this one, we're going to do a combo chart. So a combo chart is used to express elements that have a different scale, right? And so normally these are used to show totals and details against one another. And so what we're going to do here is we want to show the revenue from room and cabin against the total revenue, right? And so the scales for those two are really different, like the upper limit. So if you didn't do a combo chart, it would be very difficult and skewed. So what we're going to do is we're going to select A4 through G9, A4 through G9. So revenue categories, April through September. Then we're going to press and hold our control key and come down to row 9 and select the corresponding total revenue, leaving out column H. So now what we're going to do, see, if you look at this, like 190 and 80, the scale is going to be very different. So we're going to have two y-axes. The upper limit for each of them are going to be different. So we're going to do our insert, and we're going to do our charts, and it's this one right here. It looks, no, that's not it. This one right here. It's got the bars with the lines, like the dotted lines above it. So we want to insert a combo chart, and we want the middle one, the clustered column line on secondary axis. We're going to click on that, and we want to move that to its own sheet. New sheet, combo chart. So let's just take a minute and look at that. So this axis goes up to 100,000. This goes up to 250,000. That way, the revenue from the rentals overlays the total revenue, right? And so you can see whether or not there's a correlation, which there is, you know, since it's the most common category, it's the category with the largest revenue, of course it's going to have the biggest impact there. So you can see as rentals go, so does total revenue. So let's go ahead and format this. We're going to select the chart title, triple click. We're going to call that second and third quarters. Enter comparison of rentals and total revenue. Click outside of it. We're going to select style 6. It gets that dark background. And that looks good. That looks just like this one. So let's save it. The big thing you want to take away from this is the ability then to have different scales on the same chart. So you use the combo chart for that. All right, so the last one we're going to do in terms of charts is a sunburst chart. And we're going to use the revenue. And the sunburst chart's really cool, but you have to have your data laid out in a certain manner. So if we take a look at this, we have each of the 4 areas of Paradise Lakes: Cass Lake, Baudette, Breezy Point, and Walker. And then for each of those, we have the different revenue categories: rental, excursion, spa, boutique, rental, excursion, spa. Then for each of the categories, we have July, August, September, and the dollars, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to create this chart for Cass Lake and Baudette's revenue for their 3rd quarter. So it's going to begin by selecting A5 through D28. We're going to do insert, and on the chart, it's this little block, and then pick Sunburst. We're going to move that chart to its own sheet called Sunburst. And let's take a look at this. So if we look at this inner ring, that correlates to this total dollars for comparison between Cass Lake and Baudette, right? And you can see Baudette brings in more than Cass Lake. Then you can go to, let's look at rentals. So rentals, much bigger than Cass Lake. But Cass Lake's boutique is much bigger than Baudette's, right? And then you can look across. So boutique purchases for Cass Lake really go down in September. All right. So let's select the chart title, triple click. We're going to call this third quarter revenue. Enter Cass Lake and Baudette. Click off of it. We're going to click on it, and we're going to make this 16. Sorry. We really want all of that. I'm going to make it 16. Okay. It's a cool chart, but once again, you have to have your data. And then look at how this is smallest to largest. It's not necessarily in order of how it appears, but rather the smallest to the largest. All right, so the last thing we want to do is to put some spark lines. So we're going to go to Cass Lake, and we want to put the spark lines between September and total. So I need to insert a new column. So to do that, I go to the right of where I want to insert it, select the column, right-click, insert. So it puts a new column in. Notice that down here this stretches out. Then we're going to select B5 through G8. So we're selecting all of the numbers inside. This is what we want to chart in this little box here. So we're going to insert, and there's a spark line area, and we want to do column. It already fills in the data range because we already selected it. All we need to do is the location range, which is the H5 through H8. So now what we have is for each of these series, we have a chart, right? So if we look at spa, it goes way up, down, up, right? It's kind of hard to see. So what we probably want to do is do some formatting. So first of all, we're going to change the color. So right here, sparkline color. We're going to make it accent, green accent 6, darker 25. So down there. And then we want to format this column and these rows to be a little bit bigger. So if I go home, format, column width, and I want to make it 16. And then I want to go back up to format, row height, and make it 30. I've made that column wider and deeper, and so it's a little bit easier to see the chart, or the columns. All right, so that's it. We're going to go ahead and go home, save this, and you can submit it for grade. All right, thank you.